What's up, music fans of the internet? I am Kevin,
I'm Derek.
and together we are last week's album, where we're bringing you two opinions on the best new music. And in this episode, we're talking about an album called Skeleton Crew by a group called Madisen Ward and the Mama Bear. And we'll be answering the big question: is this an album you can take home to mom? But before we get into all that, we'll kick things off like we always do, drinking a beer. Cheers, Derek, and everyone at home.
Cheers, Kevin. Everyone at home.
And we'll start with a little background on Madisen Ward and the Mama Bear. Madisen Ward is actually the guy's real name, and it's his mother, actually, who is Mama Bear. Her real name is Ruth Ward. And little interesting story here. Back in the day, Ruth sort of had her own brief music career, but she put that on the back burner to sort of start a family. She continued playing coffee houses and teaching her kids how to play music. And at 19, Madisen Ward started playing guitar and writing his own songs. They were sort of playing coffee houses independently with their own material. And eventually they had the bright idea to just play together, and they've actually had a lot of success with that. They've since played Americana Fest, they played David Letterman, and now they're signing Glass Note Records. They've recorded an independent EP, but this is their first LP. So let's talk about what Skeleton Crew sounds like. Derek, what do you think?
Kevin, I think Skeleton Crew sounds like a southern she and him served alongside a less tense shovels and rope, a side of iron and wine, and a sip of cherry cola and pie.
Wow, nice. I like your reference to, I think, the opening line of the album there.
Yeah, it was.
I think it sounds like Darius Rucker meets Devendra Banhart, accompanied by Tracy Chapman. That gives you any idea. And let's talk about some key tracks. Derek, what are you picking?
I'm going with Down in Mississippi.
Right on. I'm going with Yellow Taxi, which I think comes before Down in Mississippi. Yeah, it does. Yep. Yellow Taxi is number 7 on the album, and it's this upbeat acoustic number with some nice strumming, some tambourine hits, passionate singing, group choruses. Sounds like they brought in a few extra singers here on the choruses here. And it's about a homeless guy who spends his nights in empty cabs, which can sound a little depressing, but despite his situation, he keeps in good spirits. And the song, like I said, is very upbeat, so it's not too downtrodden like you would think, maybe. And a really good line here. He says, "Last night I slept in a big yellow taxi. My imagination told me I was in the back seat of gold. That was the story I sold. Even though I had clothes, I froze. Even my jacket was cold." And then there's some really ghostly vocals at the bridge over acoustic riffing, which is really nice, and really just a sunny, bluesy ditty, as oxymoronic as that may sound. So, Derek, tell us about Down in Mississippi.
All right. Well, Down in Mississippi, this is the song is it hits over the 7-minute mark, so it requires a little bit of commitment, but it's very relaxed, very very homey. Kick back and enjoy yourself here on this one. It's really kind of a slow-paced one. It opens with the sound of crickets, toads croaking, so really creates an ambiance here of rural America. There's a strummed acoustic guitar, emotive cello, at least I think it was cello, and then there's an acoustic guitar riff that kind of plays over top that, goes in and out. At the beginning, Madisen and Mama Bear exchange verses back and forth. Then there's an understated guitar duo playing together over an instrumental break, starting around the 3-minute mark. And then at some of the post-break verses are delivered in unison, so I thought it was pretty cool. Lyrically, the verses are very rigid structurally, which is makes sense given it's going back and forth. Painting vivid depictions of rural living, bookended by Way Down in Mississippi. One example that really stood out to me: way down in Mississippi, did you feel that heat today? Sores on my feet today. Sour's not as sweet today. Way down in Mississippi. So I just thought this really highlighted the contrast of mom and son playing together, exchanging verses, and then coming back to sing in unison towards the end. So really enjoyed this one here.
Nice. Well, let's talk about some best lyrics on that note of singing back and forth. You go ahead, Derek.
I'm pulling one from the album opener, "Live by the Water," and he says, and this line is delivered in unison. So I really like hearing this line, knowing Mama Bear singing it as well, and it gives you a little idea as to where Madison may have, picked up his knowledge of such things about fashion. So here's the line, and I sure do like your style, and that's a fancy coat you got. And I can tell by the seams it must have cost a lot. So I really kind of like this. Just the way it was delivered was fantastic. And as this comes on the album opener, he's really kind of letting you know straight away he's going to tell you how it is.
Nice. Yeah, it's a good one. I'm picking a line from Whole Lotta Problems, which I guess is sort of about mo money, mo problems, but I think it's actually more about him trying to woo a girl who won't be wooed by money. And here's a line. It's actually sung back and forth, so Madison sings a part, and then Mama Bear, as Derek likes to keep calling her, Ruth, is coming back with a line. So he says, I bought her some flowers. She don't need your petals. A car that I gave her, it's just a piece of metal. I stole diamonds for her. She don't want to rebel. Just really nice rhyme structure there, and really fun little call and response back and forth between Madison and Mama. So with that, let's talk about overall rating and the big question. Is this an album you can take home to Mom? Derek, what do you think?
Absolutely. This is fantastic. I know my mom would like this. Heck, my mom probably want to start playing guitar with me after hearing this too, potentially. So I'm still sticking with yes. Overall, I really like this concept. Mom and son playing together. I thought it was executed very well. In fact, Kevin and I caught the tail end of their set at South by Southwest, and even then, I thought the same thing. They played together amazingly. Obviously, the familial chemistry is just exudes from them. Madison's vocals showed considerable range, I thought, and I thought this really added to the emotional tone of each song. And overall, the rich bluesy folk Americana sound, this is kind of consistent, but no song really sounded repetitive throughout the album. I thought they were able to change the delivery, just the way things were structured. So I really like this. So I'm giving this one a 5 out of 5. I thought this was fantastic.
Wow, nice. I will agree and disagree. I think this is definitely an album you can take home to Mom. I think there's something here for everyone, no matter what sort of music you're into. So you'll definitely like this, and your mom will too. On the pros side, to echo Derek's comments, Madison's vocals are amazing. They're very acrobatic. Sometimes he's yelping, sometimes he's quivering, sometimes he's bellowing, but he really changes it up depending on the song, like you said, Derek, and that's really, really nice and keeps it really interesting. There's also some idiosyncratic storytelling and perspectives. They've got their own worldview on things, and it's really interesting to hear. It's a nice mix of folk, and blues, and gospel, and country, but none of it's too much in one direction. I think they're at their best on the sunny sounds of like Silent Movies, Whole Lotta Problems, Yellow Taxi, Daisy Jane. On the con side, I think there's limited instrumentation, can be a little taxing at times. Acoustic strumming and simple picking really aren't the best for carrying their longer, slower songs. Those are the ones that sort of started to drag for me, and I kind of lost interest, like as Derek mentioned, on the 7-minute mark, 8-minute mark on some of these tracks. But overall, strong album, especially for a debut. I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. So there you have it, a 5 out of 5 from Derek, a 3 out of 5 for myself. That's an 8 out of 10. You should definitely check out Skeleton Crew by Madisen Ward and the Mama Bear, and let us know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe to us here at Last Week's Album, where we're bringing you 2 opinions on the best new music. And as always, I'm Kevin.
I'm Derek.
Cheers, guys. See you next time.